Alright students, a very good morning. Today we'll be starting with a new chapter, the third level. Okay, but before starting, let me brief you what is there inside the chapter. So this is a story about 31-year-old man whose name was Charlie. Alright. Besides this, he is a psychological story. Okay, it is related to psychology. What do you mean by psychology, children? Psychology as in the mind games. Okay, he was basically a psychiatrist. That refers to the subway at the Grand Central Railway Station, which takes passenger to Galesburg. Okay, the whole situation, the whole scenario of the story is that it is happening at the subway, which is situated at the Grand Central Railway Station, that take passengers from one place to the other. Subway becomes the interconnection between narrator's harsh reality and fantasy. Okay children, so the whole story is revolving around what the narrator feels and what his life is actually about. The harsh reality of life that we live versus our fantasies, versus the life which we really want to live. Okay, so subway here is described as the interconnection that is happening between the narrator's harsh reality and his fantasies. Okay, it is basically children about the modern world which is full of fear, insecurities, warmth, war, tensions. Okay, the people are not stable, they keep wandering, they are not satisfied, they are insecure in everything, they have fears. Okay, the president of the New York Central and New York, New Haven and Hartford railroads would swear on a stack of timetables that there are only two. Okay, it begins on a passage children, though it is just started with the presidents, telling about the presidents. Okay, I say there are three because I have been on the third level of the Grand Central Station. Okay, so the narrator is talking about a station which is situated at the Grand Central Station. Yes, I have taken the obvious step. I talked to a psychiatrist friend of mine among others. I told him about the third level at the Grand Central Station and he said it was a waking dream fulfilled. Okay, so the story begins at a station children that he says that there are three endings but two are relatively open, and the third level, the third ending should also get opened by the name Grand Central Station level 3. Okay, he said I was unhappy. That made my wife kind of mad. Okay, so narrator says that he said I was unhappy. So he says that his wife was kind of mad, but he explained that he meant the modern world is full of insecurities, fear, war, worry, and out of rest of it. And I just want to escape. So the narrator said that whether we live in such a society, we have all the fashions, we do all the tantrums, we have all those materialistic things with us children, but the reality is that the deep insides our minds, deep insides our head, we really feel insecure. The modern world, the modern generation, the present era is living his life in insecurities. Fear can be of anything. Fear to not look good, fear to go down in life, fear to lessen your standard of living, fear of love, any fear. Worries, tension to have more, worry to become something else. Okay? Well, who doesn't? Everybody I know wants to escape, but they don't wander down into any third level at Grand Central Station. Okay, now whatever he is feeling regarding life, he is directly connecting it with the Grand Central Station. Okay, but that's the reason, he said, and my friends all agreed. Everything points to it, they claimed. My stamp collecting, for example, that's a temporary refuge from reality. He says that, for example, he loves collecting stamps. Okay, children, some people have the hobby of collecting stamps. Same way, the narrator also said that he has that hobby of doing something else, doing something unique. Why? That is temporary refuge from reality, a temporary escape. Okay, as if when he's collecting those old coins, he's into that. He leaves what is, he just doesn't thinks about what is going on in his life, or what he's facing, or what he's going through. That doesn't matter. Particularly when he's seeing those coins, only that thing is mattering to him. Okay, so for that particular moment, for that particular time, he has escaped whatever he faces. Well, maybe, but my grandfather didn't need any refuge from reality. Things were pretty nice and peaceful in this day, from all I hear, and he started my collection. Okay, now he's talking about his collections, whatever he had collected out of those old coins. It's a nice collection too. Blocks of 4 of practically every US issue, first day covers, and so on. So he is very excited to tell us that he has this curious habit of collecting stamps. That is his hobby. Alright, so he also compares his hobby with the President Roosevelt. He said that President Roosevelt collected stamps too, you know. Anyway, here's what happened at Grand Central. One night last summer, I worked late at the office. Now he's beginning with the story, beginning with what has actually happened with him. Okay, so he started with this. One night last summer, I worked late at the office. So he started going on with the story that once during summers, what had happened, he worked late in his office. I was in a hurry to get uptown to my apartment. So I decided to take the subway from Grand Central because it's faster than the bus. So he is explaining that he was in a hurry to go home because already it was very late. He had worked till late. So he wanted to go home in a hurry. So what he did, children, he took a subway. Subway is a middle way, children, okay, where you don't have to take the long cut. It is basically the shortcut which takes us to a far different place at much lesser time. Alright, so he took that subway from where? From the Grand Central. And why did he do so? Because he felt that it is much faster than the bus. He could easily reach his apartment, his home quickly. Now, I don't know why this should have happened to me. I'm just an ordinary guy named Charlie, 31 years old, and I was wearing tan gabardine suit and a straw hat with a fancy band. Okay, obviously, children, he went to his office. He had come back from his office, so he was all dressed up in a very formal attire. So he is explaining himself. Now he is introducing himself to us. Okay, he is the main protagonist of the story. The story is revolving around Charles. And who's Charles? Charles is a 31-year-old man. Okay, so he is now explaining about his physical attire, what he was wearing. He was wearing a hat also with a fancy band. I passed a dozen men who just look like me. Okay, dozen man mean as if n number of people, like many people were there around him who just dressed up like him, because there were many people who might be coming from the office to their house. So basically they were also in that formal attire. So he continued that there were many people who just looked like me, and I wasn't trying to escape from anything. I just wanted to get home to Lucia, my wife. So he said that he wanted to go home. He was not trying to escape from anything. He said that many people were there who just looked like me, but he was in a hurry, he was in a rush to meet his wife Lucia. I turned into Grand Central from Vanderbilt Avenue and went down steps to the first level, where you take trains like the 20th century. Okay, now he said that he went down from this particular place named Vanderbilt Avenue, and he went to the first level, where he could took trains like 20th century. Okay. Then I walked down to another flight to the second level. Now he's explaining, then he went to the first level, now he's moving down to the second level, where the suburban trains leave from duct into an arched doorway heading to the subway. Arched doorway as in a small kind of tunnel was there, and in the second level the train used to move inside that tunnel, that arched tunnel. Arched is basically derived from the word arc. Okay, so it was arched kind of a thing, a dome arched kind of a thing, from where the train used to move, and got lost. That's easy to do. I have been in and out of Grand Central hundreds of times, but I'm always bumping into new doorways and stairs and corridors. He said that I have been traveling over here, but since I've been bumping means coming down, he always faces a new maybe doorway or a new stair or a new corridor. It was so confusing that he traveled every day, but still he got confused and met new stairs, new doorways. That's easy to do. I have been in and out of Grand Central hundreds of times, but I am always bumping into new doorways, stairs and corridors. Once I got into a tunnel about a mile long and came into out of the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel. Okay, now he says that once he was going through that tunnel, I told you now, he went through that tunnel and he went into another world. He came out in the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel. All of a sudden he went through that tunnel to board the third level, but where did he go? He went to that Roosevelt Hotel lobby. Another time I came up in an office building on 46th Street, 3 blocks away. Then at the other time he came to the office building. That lane came to the office building. Okay, so children, it was particularly a big building, maybe as we have our metro stations. Same way, when he moved to one lane, he went through another. Other lane was going through another world, other lane was going to some other place. So this is what he's explaining, that while he wanted to board that train, all this happened with him. Sometimes I think Grand Central is growing like a tree, pushing out new corridors and staircases like roots. As till a new plant grows, the root grows. We don't know that when the plant will grow or how many leaves will grow. Same way he's comparing that thing with that particular place from where the passengers board the trains. He said that I don't know from where are these new corridors, new doors, new staircases are coming. It just seems like they are roots of the trees that is coming from everywhere and anywhere. There's probably a long tunnel that nobody knows about feeling its way under the city right now. He says that this tunnel which I have been through, I don't think there's anybody who knows about it. On its way to Times Square and maybe another to Central Park. He says that one can go to the extreme place and other can take us to the extreme different place, so they are so different from each other. And maybe because for so many people through the years, Grand Central has been as exit, a way of escape. Maybe that's how the tunnel I got into, but I never told my psychiatrist friend about that idea. He says that maybe that tunnel is leading me to a new whole world, to my that tunnel is helping me meet my fantasies, all those things I have been fantasizing about. The corridor I was in began angling left and slanting downwards, and I thought that was wrong, but I kept on walking. Okay, so he says that when he went to the corridor, he inside his head he was coming to know that was might be wrong, but he kept walking nevertheless. All I could hear was the empty sound of my own footsteps, and I didn't pass a soul. He says that when he was moving in that corridor, there was nobody else except him. Alright? Only he was there, only his footsteps he could hear. Then I heard that sort of horror roar ahead, that open space and people talking. Then suddenly what happened? He heard sound. Okay, then he was relaxed. He saw people talking to each other. The tunnel turned sharp left. I went down a short flight of stairs. He came down from the stairs and came out on the third level at Grand Central Station. And that corridor ultimately led him to level 3 of that particular Grand Central Station. What was the name of whole building which he is talking about? The name is Grand Central Station. For just a moment, I thought I was back on the second level, but I saw the room was smaller. There were fewer ticket windows and train gates, and the information booth in the center was old and old looking. Okay, he had thought that he went to the second level, but actually he had gone to the third level. And how did he came to know about this thing? When he saw the location, whatever was located there, he could see that the room was quite smaller. And what else? There were fewer ticket windows, there were fewer ticket people who were selling the tickets, and the train gates, and whatever was the information booth made, that was very old and it was made of wood, so it was very old looking basically. And the man in the booth wore a green eye shade and long black sleeve protectors as if, okay, so he saw that a man was there in the booth who wore a green eye shade as in green sunglasses, and he wore a black protector, a whole kind of a gown like a thing. The lights were dim and sort of flickering as in the light was switched on, switched off, switched on, switched off. Okay, that thing of the bulb switching off it, switching in on, that is known as flickering. Then I saw why they were open flame gas lights. Okay, now this was the whole scene when he went there to the third level. Okay, the lights were dim, it was flickering, nobody was there. This was the whole criteria. Okay, so children, do it till here, read it twice, thrice, and do let me know if you are facing any problems. All right.